Just some thoughts on the season as a whole. I know obviously like a disappointing ending, but just from your perspective, how things went from start to finish.
Well, it was a tough season. Not enough wins, and of course we play the season to try to make the playoffs, and those were kind of out of touch with about 10 games to go, and so it's been tough. But I would say that there was a lot learned for sure, and we can all be better, players and staff, and I think we can all be better, and hopefully we all learn from it. But some players got better for sure. Some more responsibility than they're used to, and I thought some players did well with it.
From a development perspective, I mean, obviously you had the youngest goalie tandem to start the league, start the season, I should say, based on what happened with the claims from up above. Just from that point of view, and now those guys are in Norfolk and they're going to chase the Kelly Cup. But just how did you see Thomas and Dominic develop as a second and first year pro goaltender?
I thought they both did excellent. Thomas had a little bit of a bad run early on. Went back to Norfolk. Give him all the credit in the world for performing down there and getting the call back. And Dom, started there, played well and got the call, and ended up playing real well for us. So they both learned throughout the season, and I thought they both ended excellent. Both, when they were in the net, gave us opportunities to win hockey games, and that's all you can ask of them.
First year with Dominic Tonnato as your captain. What did you think of him and the other guys who stepped up, like a guy like Mason Shaw, in a leadership role?
Yeah, I think they did a real good job too. I mean, we're a young team with some first year players, a lot of second year players, and so it wasn't easy on them. They had a lot of they had to say a lot, and they had to try to perform on the ice and look after some of the youth. But I thought both of those names that you just mentioned, Dom and Shaw, I thought they did an amazing job.
Just in terms of again, I'm stick with development. I mean, the AHL is a development league, obviously, and so when you look at like Fabian Wagner, who again we weren't even expecting him to be in Manitoba this year, and then he comes over, joins your group, first 31 games, has I think 2 assists, and then his last 20, 8 goals, 3 assists. So again, I know points aren't everything, but sometimes they're an indication of a player kind of getting it, kind of making sense of it. How did you see his development from the start to the end?
Well, I thought he had a real good season here with us. Like, he came over a little bit unknown. I mean, we've seen him before, for a week here and a week there, but he came over and started on the fourth line and playing limited minutes, but he earned his way right up to playing on the top line, power play and penalty kill. So he did a real good job, and he earned everything, all the ice time that he got. He earned himself, and that's the way to do it. And we just had an exit interview with him, and we're very proud of how far he's come. But there's a long ways to go. So he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's on the right path.
Guy who looks like he's on the right path. I mean, obviously, Elias Salomonsson had that injury that took him out for quite a few games. But from your perspective, he looks. We didn't know what to expect. Obviously, we don't get to watch a lot of Swedish hockey. But from what you knew of him coming in, and then having had him for the whole year, how did you see his growth and development as a right side defender?
Well, I thought I thought there was huge improvement there with him, and I thought he handled his situation real well. And I guess what I mean by that is when he came into the lineup at the beginning of the year, played huge minutes. Was number one defensive pair, and had to play number one PK going over and number one power play defenseman. So he took all those minutes and he handled them very well, and he learned a lot, and he became very good in special teams. And he's very coachable, and he picks things up very quickly. And I thought there was huge improvement from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. I think he knows how to move the puck quicker and play a quicker game on retrievals. It's not the big ice surface. There's forecheckers on you a little quicker, and he learned all that very fast. So he's a very good looking prospect.
What can you say about Jaret Anderson-Dolan's development? I mean, obviously he starts the year off with that lower body injury, can't play for a couple of weeks, then takes him a little while, but really sort of turned it on the second half of the season, and then goes up with the Jets, gets his first pro playoff goal. So I mean, just or his first NHL playoff goal, I should say. So what can you say about his development throughout the year and to where he is at right now?
Yeah, with Jaret, I'm not sure it's development. I mean, he's kind of already a pro player that worked very hard throughout the season on his game, and I think it's showing now. He had some struggles early on, as most of us did throughout the season. The early on days were a struggle for us, but he continued to work and be persistent, and I think all his hard work is paying off for him right now, and that's good to see, and he deserves that.
For Brad Lambert, I mean, this is obviously, like you mentioned, a bit of a frustrating season with the, probably not as many goals as he would have hoped for, and same with the wins. But what can he sort of learn from a year like this, and how can a year like this sort of help his development further along?
Well, I think we'll know more about the season that Brad Lambert had next year. When we see him at training camp and how far, what kind of a summer he's had. But Brad Lambert hasn't had a terrible year. I mean, did he not score as many goals as he did the previous season? Yes, but he still set up a lot of goals. I think he's better in the D zone. He had to do a lot more on his own this year than he did the previous year. I think he knows he has to get stronger. There's a lot there that Brad's learned, and I think you'll see. I think you'll see in a year's time or at training camp that this year was good for Brad Lambert.
Just in terms of the success, when you see guys, as Austin said, when Jaret Anderson-Dolan goes up and scores in the playoffs, I obviously take pride in that. But what about a guy like Parker Ford? I mean, makes his NHL debut, scores in the NHL debut. Obviously, he's dealing with the injury now. But from your perspective, how gratifying was it to see a guy like that who worked so hard have that reward in the NHL?
Yeah, it's amazing. We couldn't be more proud of Parker, a guy that's come here and put his time in and works hard every day and was having a great season. Even though we were struggling offensively, he was our spark plug. He deserved the call up. He got the call up. He performed well, and you won't see. That's not seeing the end of him. Parker's a very determined player, and we'll see a lot more of him.
In terms of Nikita Chibrikov, I mean, do you have an update? I know that the expectation was he would be skating around, I think, the end of April. So what's kind of the latest in his progress?
Yeah, he's doing real well. He's ahead of the curve there, and he will be skating at the end of April. It'll be light skates, but he's doing well. His recovery process is doing really well, and he's in great spirits. And we had an exit interview with him as well, and he's happy and he's in a good spot.
I guess I should ask about Lambert as well, because obviously he's dealing with the ankle sprain. So what's kind of his status in terms of when he can kind of resume skating?
Yeah, he's got probably another week, 2 weeks before he can resume skating. But yeah, things are moving along.
I guess any final thoughts? I mean, just in terms of like another season of coaching in the books, and some new faces on the. A new face with Morgan on the coaching staff, and obviously some new faces in the room.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, when you look back at seasons, it's early that it's over right now for us, but we will reflect a little bit more as the days go by. But there's a lot of positives still, and that's the way we have to look at it.